A part of the community aspect is re-establishing a sense of trust. And a big part of people who get pushed to martial arts and want to train that, they typically have come from some deep, severe pain and trauma. And that comes with the territory. And I think when you are around people and you're able to train and redevelop trust, you're building that not only with other people, but with yourself. And that's a huge form of empowerment. What I would highly recommend is bringing a friend, bringing a family member who you feel comfortable with. And a big thing too is martial arts is yes, there's a seriousness to it, but the biggest thing is not worrying about looking goofy. It's okay to look silly, it's okay to look goofy, it's okay to not know what you're doing in the class. Everybody starts there. There's this principle called white belt mentality when you train. And what white belt mentality is, it's like a white belt who's stepping on the mat day one, they don't know anything. Everything they do is gonna look terrible. It's gonna look silly and goofy. But the more that they practice, the more that they're going to learn and develop that skill, So I think that's what martial arts really teaches you, is that white belt mentality and embracing things that are unknown, embracing things that are challenging and kind of awkward at first. My name is Chris Rios, and I teach mixed martial arts. I would say the inspiration came from my childhood and being around certain domestic experiences, and really turning that pain that I have felt at a young age into a passion. And a little backstory of this. It was always difficult for me to get into women's self-defense just because of how much I respected it, and I thought that there was just so much BS out there, stuff that was being taught that I didn't necessarily believe in, and I never wanted to be one of those instructors. So it took me years to develop this class, and ever since we started it, we have gotten really good feedback from the women who would come in. And a big part of the experience here is actually having fun and playing games and having that as a part of the class. Because having that loose, lighter energy can help you navigate things way more quickly than being stiff and overly rigid. And oftentimes when you think of self-defense, you think of violence, seriousness, and it's important to hold both of those things when you're coming into the class. So it's going to really take you through, it takes every single student through a variety of things. We do stand-up striking, we do wall grappling, we do ground grappling to kind of tie in those concepts for striking and grappling principles. But the biggest thing I think that women take away is the community aspect of martial arts. And that's a beautiful thing, because when they start progressing, naturally, when they only do women's self-defense classes, that's good, but also the reality of it is training in a group of people where there's guys in the class. Because typically it's not going to be a woman attacking you, it's going to be a big, stronger man, and it's important to get a realistic look of what that feels like. Core principles and techniques would be managing your emotions. And what I mean by that is going from this fluctuation of like playful, flowing, being like loose, and then going into a serious, technical, logical state when we're drilling. And that's the difference between like playing games and then like flowing into like a technique. A big thing that we teach here is distance, so controlling distance when you're on your feet. And then also how to use like striking and grappling, whether you're standing, you're being pushed on the wall, or you're being pinned on the floor. So women, when they are like consistently doing these classes, they will learn all of those things, like what is range? Range is distance, how far you are between you and somebody else. Using the floor, like getting out of pins. A pin is basically when somebody is pinning you to the ground. So how to escape, how to choke from there. Really how to like defend yourself and attack in any like position that you may find yourself in. The other thing is using your voice. A lot of the times, like when people have suffered a trauma, specifically like at a young age or like their teenage years, their voice gets stifled, and it's like somebody has like cut off their voice, and it becomes very, very difficult for them to articulate what they're thinking or what they're feeling. And oftentimes attackers can sense this before they ever like target somebody, and that's why they like target the people that they do, because they know that they're not going to stick up for themselves. They know that the person's not going to say anything, not scream, not fight back, whatever. So another game that we do at the end is have them use their voice to like basically guide their partner to the end of the mat. So like one woman's over here, another woman's over here. One person closes their eyes, and then they have to guide them back. And then like the instructors, whoever teach that day, put like little like cones and things for them to like navigate through.
Forward, forward, right, right, forward, forward, right, right, forward, forward, left, 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 a big left, forward, forward, right, forward, right, forward, right, 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 keep going right, right.
But the objective is like to make their voice have this like boom effect and this like commanding, almost like a militant presence, because it's like going from like that feminine energy of being like soft and, you know, like more nurturing, with which a lot of women have, and that's a superpower, but then also being able to change it if they need to, like a commanding officer or something, or someone like in the military, you know. Have that like shotgun effect in their voice in case they need it. The biggest thing is breaking down, like let's say we're doing a more complex move in grappling. Grappling is typically considered a more difficult skill set to learn versus like striking. So you almost need more time to do that during the self-defense classes. So let's just say we're gonna do like a triangle choke where you would choke somebody like with your legs, right? The way that we teach it here is breaking down steps where it's easy to get, and then we eventually put it into like a thread, a combination of moves that they can use.
Here we're gonna lift our arm up and then twist. As you twist, dropping the arm down and lowering your weight a little bit. Big thing about being on the wall is that I want to get off the wall. I do not want to stay here, okay? So I'm gonna frame, circle out, and then keep my hands up. So again, my partner chokes, boom. I lift my arm up and twist, dropping the arm down. Is this arm just chilling down here by its side? What am I doing?
Aren't you pushing it down?
I'm catching it.
Oh, because you're going to grab it with that hand too?
Yeah, so I'm catching it and keeping connection here, okay? So, because I don't want you just using this hand again. So you can follow up. This is called a combative strike. When we're here, we're tight. You could follow up and then frame out.
And
Okay.
anytime that people become like overwhelmed with techniques, I train all of the instructors here who help out with the classes to look for those signs and dial it down. Because that's the last thing you want, somebody to come in here to learn self-defense, and they're not only doing it wrong, but they're getting frustrated, and then they're getting pissed off with themselves. So you gotta kind of know how to dial it down a little bit. The other thing too is playing games the moment that we start and then to end it. And the reason why we do games to start and end is so you can really open up to the group, and the group starts laughing, they start bonding, and it's easy to connect. It gets you out of that like warrior primitive like mind state, and it gets you into like playing and flow. And that's a high level of fighting or martial arts, the ability to like flow and play while you're doing it. The best fighters in the world have that ability where it looks like they're almost playing a game as they're doing it. And then to end it with a game is like to take all that like seriousness and the techniques and defending yourself and choking people and striking people and all that stuff. Is to bring it back in to where they're learning how to relax, be playful, and flow.